The following stretch is a static stretch. So we are going to be stretching the scalene muscle which is along the upper trap. So in this exercise, in this stretch, what you're going to be doing is take one hand out, which you're going to be stretching. From here, I want you to externally rotate it. Holding the externally rotated position, keep one hand on the head, and from here, without rotating the neck, I want you to pull it to the opposite side. And hold the stretch for a good 30 seconds. Throughout the stretch, make sure you're breathing in and breathing out. You should feel a nice stretch along the upper trap, right there. The following stretch is a static stretch. In this stretch, you'll be keeping one hand behind the back. So this is going to go into internal rotation behind the back, and you're going to be keeping the other hand over the head and pulling it to the opposite side. Hold the stretch for a good 30 seconds and make sure you're breathing in and out throughout the stretch. In the following static stretch, we'll be starting off in a split stance. Make sure that both your feet are pointing in one straight line forward. From here, we'll be stretching the back leg. So what you're doing before we start the stretch is to contract the back quadricep muscle. This is going to help activate the right muscle to stretch, and from now, keeping the back heel over the floor, push the front knee forward. This is going to give us a nice good stretch along the rear leg gastrocnemius muscle, and you're going to be holding the stretch for a good 30 seconds. After which, you're going to change the leg. In the following exercise, you'll be requiring to elevate one of your legs, the leg you're stretching. In my case, I use a step-up box. So place your front leg over it with only the heel, the ankle flex. This is going to allow us to stretch the hamstring along with the calves. From here, keeping the hips flexed, push the hip out and bend forward towards the foot right from the hip. Reach right to your heel if possible. Hold this position for 30 seconds and then change the leg. Make sure as you're bending forward that the bend is happening from the lower back and not from the upper back. I don't want this happening. You want to bend forward from the lower back. So right from here, bend down, push and hold it there. Depending on the hamstring flexibility, you might stop right here. No worries. As long as you're feeling the stretch along the hamstrings and the calves, you can relax there. In the following exercise, the stretch, be standing your feet out wide than shoulder width stance, and point your feet straight out. If you want, you can point them slightly sideways depending on the flexibility of your inner thigh, but I suggest keeping it straight forward. From here, drive the hip out back, and now push the hip out on one side and hold it there for 30 seconds. You're going to make sure while you're performing the stretch that the knee is over the toes and the hip is nicely out. Many people perform the stretch by pushing the knee out diagonally. No, the hip has to move out back while the knee tracks the toe, and maintain its position for 30 seconds and then swap back to the other leg. In the following stretch, we'll be standing in a split stance with one foot pointing straight forward, one foot to the side. From here, we'll be stretching the back foot. So what I want you doing is, the back foot, I want you squeezing the glute while contracting the quad. And from here, maintaining the feet pointing side, rotate the hip and squeeze the glute. This is going to give you a good stretch along the TFL, that is the deep hip flexor of the right leg. And hold this position for 30 seconds. If you've noticed, my front foot is pointing straight forward while the rear foot is pointing at the side, while my right hip is internally rotated. For the following stretch, we'll be lying on one side, and the hand that's lying on the floor will be the hand we are stretching. So first, flex the shoulder at 90 degrees. Now flex the elbow at 90 degrees and then internally rotate it at 90 degrees. From here, you can rest your neck on the floor, or you can keep it up as per your convenience. You're going to use the other hand to push the hand into the stretch. Push the hand down until the first point you feel the stretch. You should feel the stretch on the back part of the deltoid and hold it there for a good 30 seconds and then change the side. For the following stretch, we'll be in the kneeling position. From here, push one leg out. The leg that is behind is the leg that you're going to be stretching. From here, I want you to push the front knee gently forward while maintaining the back knee in position. This is going to give us a good amount of stretch on the back quadricep muscle. Hold the stretch for a good 30 seconds. If you're not feeling the stretch at this point of motion, you can move the foot slightly more forward and then move ahead. In my case, due to a good amount of flexibility in the quadriceps, I require to increase my stance, so you can do the same. Make sure to lean forward while keeping the torso upright. The following exercise will be requiring a Swiss ball. From here, keep both your hands on the Swiss ball parallel to each other and push the ball out while maintaining the hip at 90 degrees. From here, you're going to feel a good amount of stretch along the lat muscles, that's the muscles below your underarms, right up to the lower back since they are attached there. To increase the stretch, you can move the ball a little more out and while maintaining the hip at 90 degrees. This is going to increase the amount of shoulder flexion and thus increase the intensity of the stretch. Hold the stretch for a good 30 seconds while maintaining a good inhalation and exhalation throughout the stretch. In the following exercise, you'll be requiring a stool. In my case, I use a step-up box. You'll be sitting and from here, get into a cross-leg position. So the leg that is over the other is the leg that's getting stretched. In my case, the left leg. From here, maintaining the hip, the knee at 90 degrees, I want you to bend forward while keeping pressure on the knee and pushing it gently down. You should feel a good amount of stretch on a side part of the buttock muscle, that is the piriformis. Don't get mistaken, this is not a gluteal muscle, this is the piriformis muscle. Hold the stretch for a good 30 seconds and then change the next leg. For the following stretch, you'll be requiring a heightened object. In my case, I've used my step-up box. So what you're going to do is, you're going to kneel beside the box and the hand that's facing the box is the hand you're going to be stretching. So in my case, it's the left hand. So keep the elbow flexed 90 degrees and raise your shoulder laterally. From here, bend down, maintaining the elbow at 90 degrees and the shoulder flexed, and go down onto your forearm. From here, gently drop the left side of the body towards the floor and you'll feel a good amount of stretch along the pec joint. From here, hold the position for a good 30 seconds while maintaining the same amount of stretch throughout the time. After 30 seconds, change the side and back. In the following stretch, lie on the floor in a supine position. Straighten one leg out while lifting the other knee to a 90-degree knee flexion position. From here, keeping the hand on the insertion point of the bicep femoris and holding the knee in position, I want you to slowly extend the knee, feeling the stretch on your bicep femoris. As you feel a stretch there, hold the knee in position for a good 30 seconds, after which you're going to change the leg. Make sure while you're stretching the knee that the other leg remains fixed on the floor and doesn't rise up this way. This is going to reduce the efficiency and the effectiveness of the stretch. So pin it down there and focus on the stretched leg. In the following stretch, lie on the floor in supine position and pull both your knees to your chest. From here, wrap your hands around your knees and pull your knees to your chest while holding your breath. This is not going to be exactly a static stretch, but as you pull your knees to your chest, I want you to breathe in, hold the stretch, and as you breathe out, relax and release the knees. Again, pull it back, hold stretch, and back. This is more of an active stretch than a static stretch. So you're going to go for 8 to 12 good repetitions, after which you're going to change to the next stretch. In the following stretch, you're going to start off in the kneeling position, and from here we're going to go into a split stance. So the leg that is behind, you're going to be stretching that hip flexor. From here, I want you to contract the glute of the rear leg. This is going to activate the hip flexor muscle, and from here, I want you to push the front knee forward. It's going to give us a good amount of stretch on the hip flexor muscle, but now, in order to increase intensity, we're going to raise the hand up, the same hand whose leg is behind, and from there, turn towards the opposite side. This is going to intensify the stretch along the hip flexor and also give us the stretch on the QL muscle and the lats. Hold the stretch for 30 seconds and then change the side. In the following exercise, you're going to start in a kneeling position and you're going to go into a split stance. From here, unlike a normal quadricep stretch where we push the knee forward, here the knee is going to remain above the ankle. So in order to stretch the psoas muscle, I want you to contract the glutes of the rear leg. Keep the hands up and just push the hip in. So instead of getting a stretch along the knee, we're going to get a stretch along the deep hip muscle. That's called the psoas muscle. Hold it for 30 seconds, after which you're going to move to the next leg. In the following video, I'll be showing you 3 types of wrist stretches. In the first case, keep your hand at shoulder level with the palms facing up. From now, use the other hand and pull the palm towards the body. This is going to give us a good stretch on the lower part of the forearm, the rear part. You're going to hold the stretch for 30 seconds and then you're going to change to the next stretch. For the next stretch, face the palms down, so you'll be internally rotating the shoulder, and now pull the palms towards you. This is going to give us a stretch on the frontal part of the forearm muscle. Again, hold the stretch for a good 30 seconds and then relax. And for the last stretch, you're going to be keeping the shoulder flexed at 90 degrees and now facing the palms down instead of up. So keeping them down, be a little gentle in the stretch and pull the palms towards you. This is going to give us a good stretch in the front part of the forearms, but more over the wrist joint. In the following stretch, we're going to be stretching the tricep muscles. So raise on shoulder 180 degrees, drop the wrist top of the shoulder. Using the other hand, you're going to pull the elbow down and towards the body. This is going to give us a good stretch on the left hand. Hold the stretch for a good 30 seconds and then change to the right side.